So how do you go from $0 to your first 2K retainer strategically? Today, you'll have the answer. I'm giving you the 8-step system that I use to build a $139K a month agency, and the same one that I use to take someone from zero experience to their first retainer. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I know what you're thinking. How are all these people making so much money in just a few months? Well, this is the roadmap. Use it, follow it, and get up and running yourself. All right, guys, so here's how I map this out for you strategically and in detail. I actually went back in time and I thought about all the hurdles and problems that I faced in my journey, and I fixed them one by one to make it as seamless as possible for you. So think about it like the hero's journey. We have a beginner here, right? And then we have a hero right here with a locked retainer and no anxiety about the future and no anxiety about money. Okay. So this is a beginner, right? This is you. Okay. At the start of the journey. Okay. And this is basically the same process that I use to get people from zero all the way to a 2K retainer. So first of all, is I get them to pick a niche, okay? And these niches are, I like to call them the 3 golden niches, okay? The recruitment niche, the B2B tech niche, and the healthcare niche. Now, you might be thinking, Saad, why these 3? Well, the reason why I picked these niches is because they have millions of micro sub niches. And I wish someone has told me this before, but I learned this through try and error. So these 3 master niches, let's call them master niches, they have millions of micro sub niches inside them, which sets you up for something that I'm going to reveal later. Okay. Now, enter myoProcess batching technique. myoProcess batching technique is a method you can use to interfere with the market without burning lead lists. Okay? Most gurus are trying to cheat. They tell people you need to be sending 2,000 outreach messages at once a day to get clients, which is absolutely not true, guys. You know this quote, volume negates luck? Yes, it is true, but to some extent, okay? And let me explain. When you send 2,000 outreach messages at once, you'll learn nothing. So what you want to do is you want to be like a myoProcess growth partner instead. You want to test small, learn fast, and scale what works. So we have something called the 400 email rule. So never send more than 400 emails in your first batch. Why? Because it's small enough to get meaningful data in 5 days, but large enough to identify patterns. Okay. So you can just copy this technique, the 3 batch validation system. So you have batch 1, you test your angle, 400 emails. Batch 2, you optimize what worked, 400 emails. Batch 3, you scale the winner, which is basically a larger batch. All right. So once you do that, well, enter white label case studies. Now, the reason I did this is because the main hurdle for people getting started is they don't have any social proof. And I don't like when gurus like show you how to do outreach and how to get clients, and they rely heavily on their social proof. Obviously, if they rely on social proof, they're going to get clients. But if you put your shoes in someone just getting started, they don't have that social proof that you have. So what I've done is I blocked a day off my calendar and I went ahead and contacted 5 of my previous clients that I'm still working with today. And it's one of the best clients that I've had. And I was like, hey, I was wondering if I can get people to be a partner in my case studies. So they were like thumbs up. They didn't really care. And that was like the most valuable thing that I came up with. Now people don't have to worry about social proof because they can say we partnered with myoProcess, etc., and then we achieved X, Y, and Z. So this is called white label case studies. Okay, but now that you are watching this, okay, let's say you don't have social proof. Okay, like what do you do? All right, let's say you implement the batching technique, but now you are writing your copy to reach out. How can you talk about your social proof when you don't have any? Well, I want you to understand something. Okay. You are never starting from zero. You're always starting from your own story. Okay? Now give that some thought. See, now that you are watching this, you have your own little color. You have your own background, your own story, your own voice. Okay? So you're never starting from zero. And most of the time, see, the thing that you're trying to hide is the thing that actually makes you valuable and makes you special and what makes you stand out. And you can totally apply this to automation and selling sales systems. And let me give you like a concrete example. I know a guy who is 19 years old who makes 30K a month. And you know how he got his first client? He literally hopped on a call with a prospect and he was like, hey, I'm actually a student. I built X, Y, and Z, and I can do the same for you. Boom, he got his first client. Now, the reason why he got his first client is because he was honest. That was raw. And people appreciate authenticity. Okay. And that's how you differentiate yourself from everyone. Okay. Let's say you worked in 9 to 5 in any field, IT, whatever. Okay. That's still social proof. You can use that. I know someone actually who is an SDR, right? He worked as an SDR as a 9 to 5, and he used that social proof to reach out to companies hiring for SDRs. And his angle was like, hey, I've worked as an SDR, so I know X, Y, and Z. I know the industry inside out. I know how the day-to-day hurdles. So how about we set up a sales system for you that can send 17 times more than a typical SDR. Okay. See how you take your color, your own background, and you essentially just connect it with their problem. Okay. You connect that to their problem. So you can totally use that, guys. Another thing, I can assure you that if you've worked with any company, you've probably fixed something that doesn't seem special for you, but for other people, it is. So you can also use that. Okay. Okay, so now the next step, this is called finding the golden goose. Now let me explain that. Okay, this is what I like to call the magic. This is exactly where the magic happens. So after your first batch, because if you remember, enter myoProcess batching technique, okay? Some verticals will respond better than others, okay? In these 3 master niches, okay? Because like I said, inside of them, we have millions of micro sub niches, okay? Like within recruitment, we have IT recruitment, we have healthcare recruitment, and within healthcare recruitment, we have multiple verticals, okay? And that's how we find those hidden niches that nobody talks about. Those niches that you guys see me sharing this channel, and you're like, Saad, how the hell you came up with this niche? Well, this is how you come up with these niches, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you targeted 400 recruitment agencies. 200 healthcare recruiters got you 0.5 response rate. 200 tech recruiters got you 4 response rate. Most people ignore this data. I don't, and you shouldn't. And most people who make a ton of money never ever ignore this data. Now, this is called the golden goose principle. When you find a micro niche that responds, for example, at 3% plus reply rate, you dig deeper. We find more companies that look exactly like your best responders because this is exactly what makes sense, right? Another example for you. If tech startups with 50 to 200 employees in Series A funding, for example, just an example, respond best, well, we find 2,000 more companies with that exact profile. This is how you bypass the market saturation, right? It's how you bypass it strategically. While everyone else's targets recruitment agencies, you're laser focused on Series A tech recruiters in California, right? That's how you find the golden goose. Now, the next step is enter the connector angle. Now, this is a scaling method that I came up with when I was around 40K a month, and I just couldn't scale anymore. I was like, okay, I need to lower the costs. I did not want to hire anybody because I had limited beliefs about hiring. Because, you know, I came up from an automation background. I was like, I want to automate everything, which is a total, like big mistake. Okay. You do not want to automate anything until you're like at 15 to 20K a month. Okay. You can pretty much do everything, like send in proposals. That's why I always say don't automate send in proposals, because a single digit like a single 0 gets added and you're messed up. Okay. Never do that. I learned it the hard way. So I came up with this connector method when I was going for a long walk, and I was like, how can I actually scale? So essentially TLDR, the connector angle is when you position yourself as someone who makes intros between 2 parties. So you find supply and you find demand and you connect the 2 and you make money out of this introduction. Okay. And this is exactly what a sales agency is. Okay. Now, after that, let's talk about the sales call structure. You might be thinking, Saad, well, what do I sell? Well, you have two offers, okay? Either you build them the system, which is going to be the sales system, which is essentially the same systems that I show you guys, whether it's an N8N system or make.com system, whatever you'd like. And typically when you build them the system, you include some sort of like SOP documentations. I have like an SOP documentation here for, this is the one, automated lead generation, which is this one. So include looms, etc. And then like a step-by-step. I also have the blueprints, and I also have, inclusion, etc. It's like a nice document, step-by-step. And on top of that, you just basically record like a SOP documentation, okay? Which is basically like a video where you walk them through the system, etc. So this is the first offer, because some clients, like, they would say, well, okay, I just want the system, and you provide us with the training, SOP, etc. Okay. The second thing is handling their intros directly. Now, I always recommend the second, which is handling their intros directly, because it's easier to close one, and it's you selling the outcome, not the process. Because what matters is not just the system. The system is going to facilitate the outreach, right? But the intros is what actually make money. What matters is you handling them, the intros directly. Just to be super transparent with you guys, I would say 80% of my actual revenue came from intros directly. Like, intros directly is what actually makes a ton of money. Okay. And this is how people are printing money. Now, enter the Trojan horse. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and this is what you should do. Okay. This is why I say sell the intro, because this is exactly what matters. Nobody cares about the N8N system or like the make.com system. They only care about what can you get for them, which is more clients. Okay. They don't care about an onboarding system. They don't care about the visual flow. They only care about whether you are going to make them money or not. Okay. So enter the Trojan horse. So when you are handling their intros directly, you want to offer one free intro. Okay. Now, the reason why I recommend this, and this is exactly what I've done, guys, from like 40K all the way to 80K. This is how I got myself in the door. Your closing rate when you offer something free for humans, because humans only care about things that are free. This is a psychological trigger that has like 99% close rate. Because when you say, I'm going to offer you a free intro, they're going to be like, yeah, sure. And now enter the first client reward. Okay. So this is where it gets interesting. Well, now since they said yes, well, now you have a client, and this is where the first client reward actually comes. And this is how I hop on a call with members, and I help them with delivery so they can actually deliver the first intro, right? And actually deliver, right? This is the reason why I added the first client reward. Now it makes sense. And then boom, after they deliver that first intro, well, now I just copy and paste like a template that I have of an email that specifically talks about the next steps, right? And the next steps is basically locking them into a retainer, since now they saw the value. Okay. Like, they saw the value. They got one free intro. Maybe it's even became a client for them, right? They actually made money. Now we say, well, we're going to turn this into more like a systematic system that gets you more of these intros on autopilot. Okay. And then you just go for like a 2K retainer for like 3 months, and boom, right? So now we have a new master, a locked retainer, happy clients, because since essentially I helped with the first client reward, and they have a case study for the next one, rise and repeat, right? And then we have our Superman here, right? Now you might be thinking, Saad, why are you doing this? Like, why are you adding this first client reward, white label case studies? Well, this is a good question. I'm going to explain this to you. And this is actually a question that I received in like a weekly call, like last week, from a member. And he said, Saad, you can literally work 3 hours a day or like 4 hours a day and just be a guru and never actually give a shit about people and never help them. Like, why are you doing this? And my answer to that was, there are many things in life that I want to do that are not money related. Okay. Because an extra zero in my bank account doesn't necessarily make my life better. Like, I already make a ton of money. I can go whatever I want. I can travel whatever I want. I can drive whatever I want. But there are many things in life that I actually want to do. Okay. And one of them, okay, get 1,000 people to 10K a month. I think that's a fair goal. Reason why I want to do this is because I get this dopamine whenever someone posts to win. It's so hard to explain, but it really gives you this peaceful happiness, okay? That you actually helped someone get out of a bad financial situation. And by default, when you help other people, you will get rewarded regardless, whether by always staying healthy, your soul is always going to be nourished. So there are many things in life that are not money related that I also like to do, right? So this is the answer for this. That was me waxing poetic, but now you guys have the exact roadmap. Let me give you another recap. So you want to pick the 3 master niches, okay? Use the myoProcess batching technique. If you don't have any case studies, you can essentially just use your own little color, exactly your experience that you've had, whatever experience. Once you find the golden goose, okay, you essentially just copy the same way I write, and the emails that you see me in this channel always write every single time I record these videos. And then in the sales call, go for handling their intros, offer 1 intro, okay? And there we go. You just got your first client. So now you're going to go ahead and over deliver. So there you go. Now you have everything. The only thing you have to do is simply just get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.